Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we help product-based businesses grow their sales and improve their strategies.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to my co-host and biz bestie, Mina Kulosita, an Amazon guru that has built a multi-six-figure product-based business.
And introducing the other half of the Product Boss, Jacqueline Snyder. She has helped launch and grow over 500 fashion apparel and accessory brands, even one of her own.
And together, we share our inventory of secret weapons that will help you dig deep and do the work it takes.
Are you ready? Let's build together. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I'm Mina, your host today, and I'm joined with Kathleen Kobel, not Jacqueline, guys. And Kathleen Kobel is a good friend of mine. She is also an Amazon expert. We are a dream team when it comes to Amazon, I feel like. And I met her a while back. It's been a year, a good year. Hasn't it been? Who knows? It's a blur.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year or so, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and talk about her business.
Sure. Thank you, Mina. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I love it, of course. Big fan. So my name's Kathleen Kobel, and I run a consulting agency where I help businesses launch their products on Amazon. So we do everything from launching new products to maintaining stores to listing optimization, running advertising, everything that your typical small business owner doesn't quite understand and doesn't really need to understand, because Amazon is, while it's a very important e-commerce platform for most businesses to be selling on, it's not their primary one. So companies hire me to manage their Amazon stores and make sure that they're set up the right way, complying with Amazon's terms and all that good stuff. And I also teach other people how to do what I do as well.
Awesome. So today's episode is going to be all about demystifying Amazon, because I think that you're right that people get really intimidated as far as like the size and the sphere and all things Amazon, right? We don't need to tell anybody how important it is to be on Amazon with the billions of people that are, the billions of dollars that are being spent on there. So we won't go into that. I think we should jump right in and talk about some things that maybe will help demystify Amazon altogether for those who want to start. So are you ready?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
So Kathleen and I have been talking about how this episode is going to be all about nerding on Amazon. And even if you're not ready to get on Amazon, it's very important for you to have this in your mind. Is this a strategy you want to go with? Is this something you want to put a pin in and think about later? So it's good to even think about it and have it in your kind of long-term plan if you're not planning to do it even right now. Okay. So number one, demystifying Amazon is it's actually really easy to get onto Amazon. So I'll let Kathleen tackle this one about how easy it is. I mean, really, you just need an account, right? A bank account.
Basically, you just need to be a human being.
Breathing.
To sell on Amazon, yes. They make it pretty simple for you to sign up for a seller account. And then in order to actually sell on the account, you need to show them a bank statement and some form of personal identification so that they know you are a legitimate human. And that's really all you need. Obviously, you need a product, but it can be your own or someone else's. And I know we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but it's pretty easy. It takes about 10 minutes to sign up for an account and send in your info to get verified. Amazon wants you to sell. And that's probably the easiest thing to do on Amazon, is to sign up for an account and get started.
Yeah, and they do two different plans. So even if you're not selling initially, they will just take a cut of what you're selling. So you don't have to pay that monthly fee of $40 or whatever it is. So you don't even need money up front. No money down, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what people say?
Yes, no money down. Free to
Drive
join.
off the lot. Okay, so that's the first one, is that 10 minutes. All you need is 10 minutes. And your bank account, actually, I think, doesn't it have to be a U.S. account though? So if you're a international seller,
if you're selling in the U.S. on Amazon U.S., it does have to be a U.S. bank account.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that sell, like they might be in the UK or in Canada, but they sell on the US platform because it's much bigger as far as sales go. And then, they diversify by going to the other platforms. Okay. So number two, it's not too late to get on Amazon. So, what do you think about this, Kathleen? Is it too late? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, Amazon is only growing exponentially. It's definitely not too late. There are certain products and categories that may seem saturated. I probably wouldn't open a cell phone case Amazon store because there's
Or
about
what is that? Fidget spinner.
Yes, or fidget spinner, any of those things that lots of people sell that are kind of commoditized at this point. I would stay away from that. But if you already have a product-based business and you're building your brand, whatever you're selling is unique to you, even if it's similar to other things that are on the platform, it's still unique to you and your brand. And it's never, never too late to get your brand on there, because if you don't, eventually someone else will. So it's important that you claim your brand on Amazon, because it is an open marketplace, but there are new sellers signing up every single day, new products being listed every single day. It is certainly not too late.
Yeah, and even thinking about cell phone cases, right? So there's plenty of people that still buy Apple, accessories and Apple cell phone cases because they've built up that brand loyalty. So basically what you want to do is you want to get onto Amazon to make sure you're claiming your own customers, you're claiming that brand loyalty. Otherwise, somebody's going to be selling, whatever brand it is, whether it's Kathleen Kobel cell phone cases or whatever it is. So eventually you will have to represent your brands, but I think it's great to have your own customer base so you can pull from there and really fuel your listing.
Absolutely.
So next demystifier is to really simplify your strategy. So getting onto Amazon, I kind of jotted some ideas down here. I put that people should list on Amazon, build their brand off Amazon, and push that external traffic to Amazon. And this does several things. Like, first of all, you can't just list it and expect people to come. Second, it prevents people from like counterfeiting and knocking off your brand. There will be similar brands like what Kathleen said. I mean, there's just probably going to be thousands, right? But this prevents them from straight up copying it because you have your own external traffic, which Amazon does reward. And then it's creating your own brand loyalty outside of Amazon, which you can kind of just bring it on to Amazon. And that really is keeping it simple and, just having an idea of what your goal is. And your goal is really to make sales, but it really is to build a brand. Do you have anything to add to that, or is that pretty much the gist, the simplification of it?
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist. You list your products, you claim your brand as your own so that no one else can. And yeah, keeping it simple is just, obviously you would never take your products off of wherever else you're selling. Amazon is an additional channel for you to grow your brand and to get more sales. And I have so many clients who it's like the trickle effect, Amazon, because they're such a large website, they rank very high in SEO with Google. And so it's also a great idea to, claim that first page of Google, and Amazon's going to help you do that, because if you've ever Googled a product to buy in Google and they're selling on Amazon, you're going to see it on that very first page. So, and some people are just very, very Amazon loyal. They want the 2-day shipping for free. They just only want to shop on Amazon. They might just go right to Amazon and not to Google or your website to find and buy. But yeah, keep it simple. Use Amazon as an additional revenue stream for you, but also use your resources within your business and do direct some of your existing traffic to Amazon to get that sales boost. And, like Mina said, Amazon loves that. They love when you send people to Amazon from other websites. They will reward you for that in their search algorithm too.
Yeah. And a lot of times I use those benefits to my advantage, like that 2-day shipping. I'll send those customers that just need to get it in time. Then I don't have to worry about putting it in a bubble envelope, taking it to the post office. It helps me too, because then when somebody's like, oh, I need this for daycare on Monday, I'm like, well, you can just buy it on Amazon. I bet you have a warehouse right by you and they can get it to you. If not in, if there's Amazon Now, that's 2 hours, right? Versus 2 days, which 2 days seems lengthy when you think about 2 hours.
I know, right? But it's true. I needed a gift for someone like in 24 hours. And I specifically bought something on Amazon that would get it there for me. I didn't pick one brand because it wasn't available in 24 hours, and I did pick the other brand. So just like you said, that in and of itself is so powerful that you can send your customers there, and then you don't have to deal with it, or your warehouse doesn't have to deal with it, because you already have inventory at warehouses across the country because you're selling on Amazon.
Yep. So the next one, speaking of warehouses, this is something that will definitely kind of fold into that. Amazon actually has lots of tools and resources at your disposal. Amazon FBA being one of them. So that's fulfillment by Amazon. What we were just talking about, how there's all those warehouses for you to put your inventory into, and then, they do all the shipping for you. Of course, do they charge you? Absolutely. Of course they charge you. But at least it's, a tool that you can use, and then you get the Prime badge. So what are some other tools that you can think of that Amazon has?
Let's see, the FBA is great. The brand registry.
Yeah.
So if you have a registered trademark, you can apply for brand registry, which then gets you some additional perks in your advertising platforms. You get to use headline ads, which is really powerful. I've seen much more success with the headline ads than the regular ads. And I might be getting a little nerdy right now.
Nerding out.
But, they also allow you to, create this beautiful storefront. So you can find all of your products on Amazon.com/your brand name, which is, I also think, really powerful, that when you're telling someone, oh, go buy my stuff on Amazon, they don't even have to search for it. They can go to Amazon.com/whatever your brand is, and then have all of your products displayed on this one web page. That's a really great feature of the brand registry too.
Yeah. And then when you're looking on the consumer side of that, it's like when you click on a product and you scroll down and they have all these fancy photos and everything at the bottom. That's what brand registry is. And now they even have videos for you to use in your listing. So the storefront is just exactly what Kathleen was saying about having that. So mine is www.amazon.com/little labels. So it's a lot easier for me to say, hey, go to this website, which is the one that I actually have right now on my Instagram, since you only can use one. And then it looks more legit. It also gives you data on how many people are buying off of there. And then you don't have to say, hey, search for my brand name, scroll down. I'm probably like third on the list, blah, blah, blah. It just makes it a lot easier for you to get in front of the right people. And that's another thing too, is that even if you're not on the first page, you should at least be on the first page for if somebody were to go into the search engine on Amazon and put in low labels, waterproof labels. So they're putting the brand name in there, and because sometimes people will run ads on your brand name and you won't even show up. So that's another thing about claiming your brand, right? You need to get on there. So then if I wasn't on Amazon and they searched for low labels, something else would come up, probably a competitor that, knew of my brand name. So this is getting very deep into it.
But it's all important. It's all important information to know, and perks of selling on Amazon.
Another thing too is just to be aware of your keywords. So in listing your listing optimization. So that would be your title, your bullet points, your description. What are people going to be searching for? I can't even think of an example. Like if they were searching for a teether, let's say you sold a teether, a baby teether. Would they be searching for a silicone baby teether, frozen baby teether, girl baby teether, So there's so many things that you could put into your listing that might pull people to your listing.
Yeah, and I love the feature, and Google does this to the search term. Now I can't think of the right name for it, but it's when you go to the search bar and you start typing in what you think people are looking for. The suggested term. Yeah, thank you. The suggested search terms. That's a really great way to, if you're kind of lost or you can only come up with a few different ways. There's also third-party softwares that you can use to find keywords as well. But that's a really good starting point to find keywords that are relevant, but also those longer tail keywords, which if you're in a more competitive market, you're going to be able to rank more quickly with some of those longer tail keywords as opposed to just, teether. It would be like Nina said, frozen teether for girl babies or, something like that. That might be a little too long. But.
You get that one customer that's searching.
Right.
Hey, that's one sale. It still helps.
One sale. No one else is bidding on, right?
Right. So I wanted to go through some terminology, Kathleen. So then anybody that was starting on there would kind of know what we're talking about we hear so many things about Amazon and we're not sure what we're talking about. So we went through Amazon FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon. Next is private labeling. This is something that I talk about all the time simply because I started in private labeling. And that's just basically importing from China and putting your own brand on it and then selling it on Amazon. And people used to call this white labeling, though I think that's more back in the day, I suppose. I don't know. So the sellers that you work with, most of them private labelers? Or are they brands that exist that are trying to get onto Amazon?
Most of the sellers I work with are brands that already exist that are trying to get onto Amazon, whether they are, some are private labeling, but many have their own patented products. That's really common with the people that I work with, just because those are the people who really don't understand the Amazon platform and don't have time to learn it either. So I do see a lot more of the patented products, but there's still plenty of private label companies that, like say jewelry, you're building a brand around jewelry. Maybe you're sourcing it from China, but you're putting your own name on it. So, I mean, really it's very, very similar. Same concept if you were to compare it to, say, retail arbitrage or even just sourcing.
Yeah. Speaking of retail arbitrage, that's our next little bit of terminology. So this is when you buy from, I don't know, like Walmart or Target or something on clearance and you resell that onto Amazon. They've kind of put the lockdown on this a little bit with the license stuff. It used to be a lot easier to make money as a retail arbitrager. Not so much anymore because it's more brands that haven't trademarked or, gotten brand registry. It's definitely ones that are not the big name ones that you can resell for the most part, I would say. Now they're just more strict about it. So do you still do retail arbitrage?
So I don't do retail arbitrage anymore. I did up until last year, and it became more difficult. There were a couple different brands that I had been selling, and it became more difficult with the parameters that they're putting in place. And some of the brands that I was selling, their manufacturing quality started to go down. So I had a lot of people complaining, saying that I was selling counterfeit things when I wasn't. And it was just taking a lot of time for me to send Amazon all the invoices, showing that my products were legit. And so they really are cracking down on people. They're very, very serious about if any customer says, oh, this is fake, this isn't, the brand. Amazon has no idea. They'll just take the customer's word for it. And so I've gotten out of the retail arbitrage. I also, as far as time and money goes, it's a really great way to start, like learn the process of selling on Amazon and learn how to navigate the dashboard and how everything works. But long-term strategy, if you're not selling your own products, I mean, you're not going to be super successful. I mean, I made good money doing it, but it just became not worth it with the issues that we were having.
Yeah, I actually loved doing retail arbitrage. I'm not going to do it this year. I did it last year as well. It was my fun thing that I would always do since I was always shopping anyways. And I would always be in, different Walmarts or Targets anyway. So I would scan the barcode to see if I could resell it on Amazon. And so it was my way of making extra money on the holidays. And I would use all that money to buy gifts. And so it was really quite easy because my strategy was simply to focus on toys. And so I would buy toys. They would always go on sale at Walmart in August around there. And then I'd resell them for the holiday time. And these are toys just from Walmart. I mean, they are the big brand ones. They have since cracked down, but there's certain things that, they definitely still sell. Like, I told Kathleen this story about how when I first started on Amazon, my husband is from a very Dutch town. So all the baby dolls that were being purchased were like the blue or the blonde hair, blue eyes, Dutch looking babies. And so when I would go visit my in-laws, which we would go visit them like twice a week because they live in a fishing town. It's Pella, which is like the sister, like everything's Dutch French. It's very Dutch. And I would buy up all the diverse baby dolls and like hoard them in my cart on cart on cart. And then I'd resell them on Amazon and I'd make really good money. And I'd usually have to keep some baby dolls for my own daughters, but they're not too much into baby dolls. But, because like if you're looking for an African American baby or a Asian baby doll, it's a lot easier to look on Amazon than it is at your local Walmart. So that was how I was making my money. So if you have a local Walmart and you have a whole bunch of diverse baby dolls, snatch those up and resell them on Amazon. I'm sure you still can. And so I just took that as like fun money, and I learned so much. And I got my sister into it and she was like all about it because she is shopping queen. And so she would find stuff at like TJ Maxx and what is that Tuesday one? Tuesday morning. I don't know what is local to you guys. This is all Iowa stores, obviously. You probably could have made a killing from Toys R Us going out of business, for
Right,
instance.
right. Toys R Us,
Yeah.
Carson Perry Scott, Macy's, they all are just went out, or I know Carson Perry Scott and whatever their, sister stores are. Yeah, like everything was 90% off, the
Uh-huh.
last couple weeks. And so there is a really good opportunity with retail arbitrage, especially now with all these big stores closing. And it does depend on which brands you're going to sell, but Amazon, they still make it pretty easy because you can go use the seller app and scan things. So
Uh-huh.
that's a really great point. Your story, Mina, I love your story because whenever,
Save the baby
yeah,
dolls.
yeah. Well, so whenever I would try to explain to somebody new who didn't understand, retail arbitrage and how it worked on Amazon, they would just like stare at me in disbelief and be like, why would someone pay more money on Amazon when they could just go to the store and get it for clearance like you did? And I'm like, well, the point is that they can't. Either they don't live locally to a store that offers what they want, or maybe they can't get out, or maybe they're like me and they just don't want to go shopping and they would just rather have it delivered to their door. People pay for convenience. And if you
Those
don't,
are the non-moms, I'm guessing.
oh yes, many, many non-moms, I get everything delivered. I even get my groceries delivered at this point because my
Yep.
children are so young and we've had some traumatic instances at grocery stores.
Yeah. I get mine. I do pickup. And then now Target has, so if you do pickup from Walmart and from Hy-Vee, you have to wait till the next day. But Target is doing pickup 2 hours later. So you go into like the curbside, but it's not a lot of food, but it's like fruit snacks and stuff. So if you're like, my kids and they live off of snacks, you're okay with, like Nilla wafers and things like that. Like I need those like right now.
Absolutely. I use Instacart and we shop at Aldi all the time. And that's like the big bulk stuff. We'll get the snacks and the juice boxes and the Gatorade and all that, diapers. I'll just get that
Is
all
it same
delivered.
day?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Same day.
awesome.
You can pick
Yeah.
the time increments and it's wonderful. It's so worth it.
Totally. They have that at Whole Foods, but the suburb that I live in, it's like 40 minutes away from Whole Foods. So I can't do Instacart besides on specific ones. And we don't have an Aldi either. So yeah, darn it. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed for one. Okay, tangent. So another bit of terminology is BSR, bestseller ranking. So bestseller ranking is when something is on Amazon, you get a bestseller ranking. So if you're one, you're a top dog. You're making bank, probably millions. If you're 1 million, you're probably not that great, depending on which category. But you want to be closer to one. And those are the best-selling products. This is kind of like a blessing and a curse. A blessing in that if you're, under, let's say 2,000, you're probably doing pretty good. Or 1,000. I guess it depends on the category. But if someone sees that and they want to get on Amazon too and they want to knock off your product, then they know which ones are the best sellers. So that's the curse part.
Right. Right. Although that ranking can fluctuate very quickly. So depending on what day of the week they're looking, how many sales you got, yesterday and how many sales your competitor got yesterday. It's definitely a very important number to be able to compare it to, and you can kind of gauge how many sales come depending on the BSR, but it does fluctuate pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does. And then like if you run out of inventory, it'll sink, but it'll come back pretty fast, So I think that there's so many things that go into that BSR and that algorithm that as long as you get your inventory in or you're selling, you don't get too many bad reviews all at once, it will fluctuate constantly, but it'll usually be a pretty good gauge.
Absolutely.
Okay, so last but not least, for demystifying Amazon, I thought it would be fun to go through some terms and conditions that people should think about as they're operating on Amazon. So I think the number one thing that we hear about all the time is do not incentivize your reviews. Like, just don't do it. Don't offer free product. Don't say, here's where you can find, our stuff. You could do giveaways, of course, but not say, hey, here's where you can place a review. I mean, it's a fine line. It's a whole gray area. So how do you feel about the incentivized review conditions?
I just stay far, far away. Amazon is That's a very, very big deal for them because, I mean, it's not a newer policy at this point. It's almost 2 years old now, but beforehand, there was no policy in place. And something that Amazon prides itself on is honest reviews from customers so that new customers can make informed decisions on what product they want to buy. And so you just never want to incentivize reviews or even hint at incentivizing reviews, because Amazon will shut you down so fast if they find out anything like that. Or even, all it really takes is a customer to go to Amazon and tell them that, and they'll take the customer's word for it. They pretty much always do take the customer's word for it until you can, they'll give you a chance to prove your case, but it's just not worth even messing with.
Yeah, that's what's scary, right? Is that a lot of times find those really sleazy sellers that will put in a bad review on their competitor just to get them shut down for a little bit. But those are karma's coming to get them. So yeah, just stay away from the incentivized reviews. It is something where they can track the IP addresses. Back when a couple years ago, my sister, when I first started, had put in a review and they removed that so fast. So even if they have an inkling that it's a fake review, or if it's an incentivized review, or if it's someone who's linked to you somehow, perhaps a Facebook acquaintance, they will remove it even if it's 2 years later,
Oh yeah. People, I have clients all the time that are like, why are my reviews disappearing? I never incentivize anyone. I never did that. It's like, well, did your family member, did your friend, is somebody that you're connected to online leave a review? And they're like, oh yeah. So, Amazon knows, they know everything. They know
They have
who you're
eyes.
connected to. They know who your relatives are and who you associate with online. And, if you've ever logged into your Amazon account, right, on another IP address, in another location, anything like that, they know. So don't even bother asking your friends and family for reviews, because Amazon will just either they won't approve it or it'll disappear really quickly.
Yeah. Every single time when I have a friend of mine say, oh, I can write a review for you, I'm always like, yeah, sure. But at the same time, I'm like, it'll get taken off. I don't actually say that to them because it's sweet of them to even offer, but it will most likely be taken off.
It will, yeah. And maybe it'll live there for a week or two, and then eventually Amazon will find it and take it down. But
and then some other terms and conditions. So do not, for the love of God, bombard your customers with emails after the purchase. Now, this used to not be something where Amazon was policing. And, just like reviews, now they're doing where they've limited it to one email. And that's just to follow up with saying, did you receive it or something? It's just one email. But people were doing 10 email sequences, hi, did you leave a review? Hi, did you get your product? Hi, this is about me. Hi, blah, blah, blah. And then too many customers got super annoyed that now it's only limited to one. They'll probably change to 0 at some point, honestly, because those emails are not yours to use. That email shows up not as, blah, blah, blah at Gmail. It shows up as 546, 11 at Amazon.com or whatever. So you're going through their system anyways. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy what people do, right? Have you ever received any of those emails?
oh yeah, all the time I get sellers, and I still use them. I still use them for my clients just to try to get that initial review. More so just to say thank you for your purchase.
I do too.
And
Yep.
We are a small business, and we appreciate your your support and all that good stuff. We'd be grateful if you could leave a review, but of course, no incentivizing, no promising anything like that. I have seen people get into trouble though with, so if you use a third party like customer service software and you have automated messages going out that are going to, so say, you use Zendesk or something and you have it integrated with your Amazon store. It's great because you can funnel your Amazon customer service through your Zendesk or whatever software you use. but then a lot of those have like automated responses. So once you write in, there'll be an automated response that says, we've received your inquiry and we will get back to you within 24 hours.
There's your one email.
That's your one email. That's it, right? And so then if you actually then go and respond, then that's your second email. Then that's, and I've seen some of my clients get dinged before when I didn't know that that's how they had set it up, just saying, you've been sending too many emails to customers, like you need to stop, or we're going to shut you down. So they do give you a little notice, but that can all change.
I've had the opposite. I've gotten an email about saying you need to respond to your emails instead of, so when somebody emails you, you can put no response needed. You can just click that button. A lot of times I'll send them that initial email saying, hey, thanks for supporting our business, blah, blah, blah. Here's some tips. And then they'll say, thanks so much. And then I'll put no response needed because I don't need to respond, you're welcome, right? That's like, so then I was, having a lot of emails that would say no response needed, no response needed. And I got an email saying, you must respond more to your customers. And I was like, there is just no winning here.
Right. What are you supposed to say? No, thank you.
Exactly. So I try to respond with some and I'll be like, my pleasure or whatever. And it'll be like 1 out of, 5 or something instead of like no response needed all the time. A lot of times you just get auto responders from them too,
Mm-hmm.
So they, I'm sure somehow log that too. Okay. So another one is another terms and condition thing. You are not allowed to call the customer or show up at their address. So both of those, I don't think anybody's showing up at the address, but people were calling people to survey them. And so when you don't actually get somebody's email, but you do get their phone number and their address. And so a seller or 2 or a million, I'm sure, abused that, right? And now it's revoked. You cannot call the customers for any sort of reason. They must call in if they have a situation or whatever. And so I would be so like when I first heard that strategy about, call your customers, survey them, they will love it because you're doing the extra layer of customer service. I was like, I would be so freaking annoyed. I don't even like to call Domino's to order a pizza. I download the app. It takes me an extra step, but it's worth it. I don't have to talk to anybody.
Right. For all of the purchases, for all of us Amazon junkies who purchase everything on Amazon, could you imagine getting a phone call for every single thing you purchase? My phone would be blowing up all day, every day.
Yeah. Decline.
Yes, you're right though. Some people did take advantage of that. And, way back when, 10 years ago, people were calling, they were direct mailing people, so they were taking whatever information they could from Amazon and using that to target the customers to try to sell them more. And so Amazon got smart and, now you can't do that. Even though you have the information, you can't do that. And I've also noticed that a lot of the reporting has left out the addresses, like the specific addresses. So if you pull certain reports now, and it didn't used to be this way, it'll give, the name and maybe the city and state for like the tax purposes, but it will take out the actual address and the phone number so that it's more difficult to access. You have to actually go into the customer order in your, seller dashboard to get that information if you needed it.
You're going to get less and less information. Also, do not try to text those people. Do not put them on a texting list. Just don't do anything with that information.
No. Amazon will shut you down so fast.
So fast. It'll hurt. And then last but not least, do not encourage customers to not leave a bad review. So a lot of times people will say, if you have a problem with your order, please contact us first before you leave a review. Give us a chance to make it right. Now, this is still a gray area, very gray, because they're just starting to get more aware of the fact that sellers are doing this, but it's actually against terms and conditions because you are still swaying a review, even if it is to not leave a bad review and you're trying to make it right. So they make it really hard on you to try to make things right. But you know what? It's just that whole review tampering. This is like politics, right? Voter tampering.
It really is. It's like you have to be very careful what you say and, make your expectations very clear. If you wanted to include something about leaving a review in that one email that you get, all you can really say is, we'd be so grateful if you could leave an honest review. You can ask for a review, but you can't, like Mina said, you can't say, if something's wrong, contact us first. It is a very gray area. It's not specifically stated in Amazon's terms, you can't do it. But I think that will be one of the next things that gets added to the terms, is that, you can't encourage people not to leave negative reviews, because that's right. It's still swaying their decision on what they're going to do and what they're going to say.
Yeah, for sure. So, Kathleen, that was all the demystifiers that I had. For the last bit of it, I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself and, maybe some fun stuff about your clients and what you can divulge or what trends you're seeing. Like maybe, like what would you like to share for all of our maybe Amazon sellers out there?
Sure. I'm going to share a really brief, abridged version of how I got started, and really just how why it's so important that if you're a product-based business that you get onto Amazon. So I started selling on Amazon about 10 years ago, and really, I did retail arbitrage. I've done retail arbitrage for a long time, but I really learned the platform because at the time I had started, I was running a company for my uncle, who was an internet entrepreneur. So he had started a health supplement company, and I was always looking for, the next way to make more money. And so I approached him and asked him if I could sell his health supplements on Amazon. And at the time, like I said, this is probably about 7-8 years ago at this point. So there were way less sellers, and health supplements they're still competitive, but it's not impossible, because I have current clients and past clients that sell health supplements, and some people still do very, very well with it. But so I approached him and said, can I try this out? I'm just learning this. And I made it a no-brainer for him, in that I said, why don't you just pay me a commission on sales? So there's really no...
You are brilliant. Brilliant.
Well, there's no downside for him. And of course he was like, I only have to pay you if you make me money. Great. Let's do that. So we did that. And that was how I learned how to sell on Amazon. And it blew up really big, partly because I was so committed to learning the platform. But the other part was because he already had an existing business. He already had lots of advertising and lots of marketing driving online traffic. And we also did a lot of direct mail campaigns, so getting catalogs in the mail, running them to a call center, things like that. And so Amazon was like the epitome of the trickle effect of, people would maybe Google the product name or Google the brand name, and they would find our Amazon listings and buy from there because they trusted Amazon and they had maybe never heard of the company or the product before. So we ended up doing like between 10 and 20% of the sales we did online on Amazon. So that's like an extra 20% of sales that he would not have had if we hadn't set up that additional sales channel. So that's how I got started. That's how I made a lot of money really quickly, because we had this commission agreement. And so, for me, I was like, Amazon's the greatest company in the world. Paid off all my student loans.
Still is.
Bought a car. It still is. It still is. And that's why I love selling on Amazon and getting the word out to small businesses, especially the product-based businesses. I do work with a few service-based businesses that are building their brand through, branded products like t-shirts and coffee mugs and things like that. But if you are in a product-based business, odds are, you'd want to run the numbers. Handmade and unique things and one-of-a-kind things aren't the greatest to sell on Amazon. But if you sell a product that has scalable inventory, then it's kind of a no-brainer to get on Amazon, because you're already marketing your brand and your product, and people are probably already searching for you on Amazon. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I've seen that with all of my clients. That's part of the reason why I don't want to say it's easy to sell on Amazon if you already have a product, but it's a lot easier for you as a brand as opposed to someone who is going to go private label a product that they source from China without having the brand and the business already in place before they launch their products on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon is growing so much. They still are growing a ton. I was listening to, I can't remember what it was, but think about how much room they still have to go, right? So right now there's Amazon Prime and then there's Amazon Now. Well, those warehouse facilities to compete with, let's say, Walmart or Target or something, the advantage that those retail stores have is the pickup in store. So those warehouses actually could be pick up at Amazon warehouse eventually, right? So eventually they're just going to be ruling the world is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and they already have their hand in so many different things. They have their own shipping company now. You
Mhm.
get deliveries on Sunday, and now they have this program where you can like buy an area and that becomes like your shipping, like you're the delivery person for that area. It's kind of like it's like a
Fulfillment center.
yeah, it's kind of like a, but it's the shipping and it's the delivery part. So it's like you're claiming the territory. This is very new program, but you can buy into it and then claim a particular territory. And then like you run that territory if anyone has deliveries there.
That's so awesome. Oh, you mean the drivers?
The drivers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like an Uber driver for Amazon. They have that in a bunch of cities already. I forgot the flex drivers.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could be making money making deliveries, and that would be way better than driving people around, I would
Right.
think.
Right. Right. You don't have to listen to crazy stories or deal with.
Yeah. You know? So you would become the Amazon driver, which would be awesome. So tell everybody where they can find you, Kathleen.
You can find me at kobelconsulting.com. It's Kobel consulting.com. And that's where that has all the information about my agency and the different services we offer, whether you're a small business and you just want to know if Amazon's a good fit for you, or if you know Amazon's a good fit and you're like, I just want someone else to do it for me. My team and I, we do everything for you, or you can consult with me and I'll show you how to do it too. So that's my primary site. And then I do actually teach this now. I've seen how big of a need there is out there for people who know how to sell on Amazon, who are willing to offer it as a service like how I do. There's not a ton of people doing that, and there's a lot of businesses who need help with that. So whether it's hiring an employee or hiring a virtual assistant or a contractor or something like that. So I basically taken all the information and what I teach my team how to do and turn it into a membership site so that other people can come learn, what's the quickest, most direct way to get your product on Amazon and how to be successful with that. And that website is called mastersofmarketplace.com.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so Kathleen, really quick, we're going to do some rapid fire questions. We do this at the end of every single interview. This was kind of more of a chat versus an interview, but I think it would be fun to hear your answers.
All
Okay,
right.
are you ready?
I'm ready.
What is your coffee order?
I don't drink coffee.
We get this all the time. Nobody drinks coffee nowadays.
But I love a good chai tea latte.
Are you into pumpkin spice? It's like big news around here that it's back.
Yeah, not really. No, I'm really boring when it comes to this. No.
What's your favorite thing on your desk?
My favorite thing on my desk is probably my microphone, which I don't have right now. My microphone, because it makes me sound so much better.
So which one did you get?
I got the ATR 2100.
That's what I'm using. Yes. Did you get it on Amazon?
I sure did.
You should have used my affiliate link.
Send it to me so I can order my next stuff on there.
Okay, third question. Do you have an alter ego?
An alter ego? Kind of. I guess besides my mom alter ego, I am used to be a musician, kind of am a musician. I play piano and I was in a rock band, and
oh my gosh.
That's kind of my alter ego
vibe, actually. Okay, so last question. We always say we heard that entrepreneur years are very much like dog years. And so what would you say to baby Kathleen, that first started her journey with her uncle, or even before that maybe? What would you say to her now that you're deep into your journey?
I would say niche down quicker. We all go through that process where we're not quite sure what we're going to do, but like we think we know what we should be doing, but we want to reach everyone. And when you try to reach everyone, you're really reaching no one. And so it's a scary thing to like niche down and say, well, I just serve this one person, this one ideal client, because then it closes the doors on all these other people that you may want to help or, may be able to benefit from your services. But when you focus on that one particular, whether you want to call it your ideal client or avatar or whatever, you focus on that one person. And as soon as I started doing that, I booked solid. It was very clear what I was offering. I was getting yeses 9 out of 10 times on sales calls, and As a result, I still have a very full client load, and there's a wait list. So as soon as you decide what's that one thing you want to be known for and get really good at, the sooner you can do that, the sooner you're going to see success with your business.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think that it's scary for people because they think they're shutting off those opportunities. Mm-hmm. But I like to say that it's still a door, right? A door that someone can open. So you're pushing out to that one niche, but you think you're closing off all these doors. But those people can still open that door, right? That's how a door works. So they can still open it. You can decide, am I going to let you in? Right. So it's not really like you're closing off that door permanently and you're not willing to work with them. It's just that you're focusing in on those specific people, and then you're just able to find those people quicker, and then they might have alternate needs or, services that they want you to fulfill.
Absolutely. You can always expand. You can always say, sure, I can do that for you too, but you just have to have one thing. And that's the reason why people are coming to you. They may want you for other stuff, but it's got to be the one particular thing that you're offering them.
Yeah, for sure. Love that. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen. And
thanks for having me.
We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
This episode is over, but it doesn't have to end. Head over to our Facebook group, search for the Product Boss Biz Community, or the link is also in the show notes. Come connect with other product bosses just like you. We'll see you in there.